Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's now time for us to talk about issues, going around the country, political issues, because it's all about 2023. Have you ever wondered the reason why the number of aspirants that are interested in public offices is increasing in quality surge? You get to hear the political party. Let's start from Edo State, for instance. In the PDP alone, we are talking about more than 150 aspirants for various political office. If you go to other parties, they have their own members. That's massive. It's almost unfathomable. If you go outside Nigeria, outside Edo State, the same situation has been unraveled. You get to see persons, male, female, youths, jostling for a particular political office. Not like saying that we've not seen it like this. When we talk about elections in Nigeria, when we talk about the number one seat, the presidency, despite the fact that the APC, they're selling their forms for 100 billion naira, you get to see over 10 persons. I mean, let me just be moderate, over 10 persons. And more are still coming, jostling for that form just to be the number one president. Why this craze? Why this, how will I put it now? Is it a kind of a desire, a will, a zeal, lust for political office? How come is in the increase? That is what my analyst will really expatiate on. With me here in the studio, I have a legal practitioner, a political analyst. Join me to welcome Barrister Cosmos Irabo. Barrister, welcome to TMI Tuesday's edition. I appreciate your coming.
Thank you so much.
All right. So very close to him, he said he is a Jesusician. I'll not forget that. A clergyman, a political analyst. Join me to welcome Bishop Austin Igbasa. Bishop, welcome to TMI.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, sir.
So very close to me is a political analyst, political affairs commentator, a legal practitioner. Join me to welcome Barrister Matthias Obayowana. Welcome to TMI. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you, Marshall. Good morning, viewers.
Okay. I'd like to start off with Barrister Cosmos, because he's into politics. He was one time a governorship candidate in Edo State. Your experience and this experience, talking about the number of persons that are jostling, vying for political office come 2023, is it not mind-blowing that there is this astronomical increase in persons and citizens that are excited to occupy a given political office?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. The truth is, when an office becomes very interesting with all the largesse around it, people want to go for it. Previously, it was not as fanciful as this. But unfortunately, even those who came to pretend, so to say, pardon my language, that they are fighting corruption, has made it so interesting. And then why do you say it's interesting? You see the sudden change of lifestyle. Somebody gets into office, suddenly everything changes. And everybody wants to be there. There's nobody who wants to suffer. Everybody wants to enjoy. So this man, his life has just changed. He said, what do you do? It's no longer a vocation. It's no longer a vacation, it's a vocation now. So please someone to correct me. So that's the issue. Politics normally is not supposed to be a job. It's an opportunity to serve the people. Another aspect of it is, because of the desperate nature of some of the so-called politicians, because they are politicians, so to say, they are not giving money to paying that money. No money initially they said 100 million. For instance, I want to use APC now for presidency. Some of us said, we want to see who will be able to afford that. But we've not known that it is chicken change to them. Apart from that, I want to believe that somebody is sponsoring other people.
That's a belief.
That's why I used the word. I said, I want to believe.
All right.
Sponsoring other people. Because, in my little profession, they say a grain can tilt the scale, a single grain, So they believe that if this person has a single follower or structure, so to say, when I sponsor him, he could pull his structures. The last moment he will declare for me. With that, I beat others. And just like when you see people are contesting an election, they sponsor people to come and contest the same elections. At the end of the day, they collect your agent forms. And those agent forms are given to their own people who will now be there and pretend to be agents of the other parties.
All right.
You understand?
All
so
right.
those are the two things. One, the office has become too fanciful, so to say. And two, the same politicians are sponsoring other politicians.
Okay. Let's just take that as an assumption. He said it's becoming too lucrative, and he alleged that others are sponsoring others to go purchase the forms. What do you have to say about this, Bishop?
If it's not, when you look at the total salary of the president of Nigeria for 4 years, and you compare that's the salary, so to say, and you compare it with the nomination form just to his 100 million, and when you total the whole amount of money together is about 46 million. Somebody is using 100 million to take to show interest for an office that his salary is going to be 46 million. You compare it side by side, you can see that it's a corruption on its own. And I feel that some of these political parties they encourage corruption through the back door. They are raising fund for the party itself, because you cannot be talking of somebody coming to, we have almost 40 in the party now. When you calculate that money together, you are talking about trillions of naira. Now and this money is not refundable. And you are also fighting corruption. And people are coming out now. Have you seen anyone out of those politicians who told you he's buying his phone by himself? Everybody, people are buying for them. Unknown faces are coming to buy. Cockroach is buying for this one, Walkego is buying for this one, the group of Mosquito is buying for this one. You have not seen anyone today who has come out and said, I paid for this form myself. Our sitting president the first time and the second time. The first time was bought by TB Silva, and he was compensated by the second time to become Minister of Petroleum. Now, what are we talking about? The price of nomination form itself is a corruption on its own. And also, the way people came out now, you will see that there is a tactical plan by some party to raise funds for the party through the back door, wherein no agency of government will be able to challenge them and say, how do you get your fund? Now, who has asked question from these people that are coming and they are collecting nomination for how they get the 100 million, even when ASU is on strike, and the rest of them, and even those who are in charge of those agencies are also coming to become president of Nigeria. I don't want to see it as a progress that people are coming so much, because you see everything that is attached to that office. If you become a president of Nigeria in 30 minutes, you can't be poor again. Even though if you are a madman and you sit on that seat and they say the man is sick, just help me to sit down for 30 minutes. Why? Because all what is attached to that office. So that is why, just like the barrister has said, that the office is lucrative. You don't need to work. And when you look, see all the people who were in office, who were not in office before, as soon as they come in there, they start buying property left, front and back, and you see them, they are not accessible again. The office is so lucrative that everybody wants to go in there. But the people that are purchasing from now is a strategy. It's not that all of them are going for that position. Okay. It's a tactical strategy to raise funds in a corrupt manner for a party through the back door, where nobody will be able to ask questions.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Justician Bishop.
Yes, that's my title.
All right. Barrister Matthew, as you heard both of them, they said one is becoming so lucrative, and of course, secondly, it's like a tactic. Now, that is on the national level. Let's come down to our state. We're experiencing the same thing right now in Edo State. Only in PDP, more than 120. Talk about various offices. People are coming, purchasing forms. I mean, what can you make out of this? Is this strategy or because of the juicy nature of office?
Well, first, it's political strategy. Because I wouldn't expect every person who is aspiring right now by picking forms to contest election to be really interested in that office. We have heard in Edo State that a former governor of the state was interested in going for Senate. All of a sudden, Anasai has picked form, he said going for the presidency. We all know that he never expressed interest in going for the presidency. Just for Senate, it was a aspiring to go for? He changed for presidency. Who bought the form from him to go for presidency? What was the purpose for sudden change? He made a declaration in one small hall, uncharacteristic of such a person. You know, he did all that, I believe, that, you know, it's becoming a surrogate, a front for another person. So that by the time you all buy all these forms, when you come to their consensus, because it's all boiled down to the same fight, where they insisted that they will not allow direct primaries. The National Assembly should not legislate to tell them how to do the primaries. Allow them the free hand to decide, adopt any mode of primary. So all of these are all jet towards getting delegates from all sides to ensure that at the end of the day, when they are doing consensus, whatever they are doing, they have more persons on one side. So before the day of election, we all pretend as if we are all running. Last minute, you see people aligning and realigning. So all of this is in their political strategy. That's on one hand. On the other hand, it has been said, and I agree with two discussants, that you know, it is an avenue for them to, you know, put their hand, you know, in that gold mine. You know, they want to feed from the people's sweat. You know, so any person enter into a political office because it becomes so juicy and lucrative and enticing and interesting for them. You know, so they believe that the only way to make it quick, without much ado in this country, is via politics. So once you grab a political office, you can have access to all of these things. Our president has said he's going to, you know, he's fighting a fight against corruption. We have seen in this country where political office holders who have been found guilty, you know, of committing crimes against the state, against the people, by stealing our sweat, our national fund. And at the end of the day, such persons have not even finished serving their term in prison. You give them an award of honor by, you know, truncating that term of imprisonment that they ought to have served, by, if I removing the toga of a conviction, you know, upon their giving a clean slate. You know, so by so doing, you have also encouraged other persons. You come on board. Politics an interesting feed. Anything can happen here. You can steal. If they catch you, somebody will come here and give you a clean bill of health. You know, so for them, it's, you know, it's an interesting thing to do. So let all of us go into this place and grab what we can grab. If it's any mishap, one way or the other, another first politician from above can come and clean the bill for us. So that's what they are doing, which is a shame. If we continue the way we are going, I do not see us, because people keep saying, okay, we'll get there. I do not see us getting there. I do not see things getting better if we continue in this manner. All right. Because we continue to investigate, you know, where do you get these funds from? 100 million naira is not small money. 40 million, 20 million, whatever it is. They are all in millions. Okay. Nobody's asking questions. How much do you earn? Because I just analyze your standard for the take-home pay for the presidency, right? Say about 46 million. And now, for a whole year, maybe for the entire term of office. Yes, and now you have 100 million to bring out to just buy form, and that just one from so much. Whether or not certain persons are just sponsoring others to go and do it, EAC have come out to say that they will investigate. We'll come to that. I have it's not just lip service. We'll come to investigate. You keep saying that you are fighting corruption, but we are not seeing the results.
We'll come to that investigation as propounded or proposed by the EFCC. Now, in business, they're saying that it's a risky venture. People are purchasing forms, non-refundable amount. You know, this surge in the purchase of forms nomination. Now, why would an average Nigerian want to risk this, knowing fully well that victory is not 100%? As a politician, take it up from there.
Well, you see, when you say average Nigeria, that word is a little...
They are not average Nigerians. They are not. The average Nigerian cannot find food to eat. Where are they getting money?
I think it's about 2 or 3% of those who are collected forms and those who have not been in government. Which means that the moment you get into government, you are no longer an average Nigerian. You are a super Nigerian. So, they are not average Nigerian. They have the money. They have, like my respected brother and colleague just said. Adason Somole initially declared interest for Senate.
I would also mention names. I have reasons for that.
Somebody just initially indicated interest for Senate. Suddenly, he went for presidency. Who do you think is responsible for that? Something is responsible. Senate, you pay money, but not as much as you pay for presidency. Even in that Senate, you are not even sure who can sinker that you pick it. then you are going for the one that is. So that is it. There's more to it. Politics is the more you look, the less you see. People are like, I always tell people, they say Nigerians don't prepare. We prepare. But the other thing is that the one we prepare for, is it for the one that, is it one that will be beneficial to people? No, their personal pocket. Exactly. They start preparing for election the day you enter power. So the preparation is there. So they know what they are doing. Alignment, realignment, and all that. But if you have the second eye of politics, you just see between the lines what's going on. Like I just said, somebody is sponsoring so many people. And you know, politics is a win-win game. Unfortunately, what you're saying, except you are from the other party. If your party wins, it's a win-win game. Everything you get it. If you decide to step down, you will be compensated. The lady who sponsored this Chibok girls then and all that wasn't. It really was something post authority, chairman of post authority or something like that. I know they gave her a serious office. You see, it's strategy. Do this, you get this. Do this, just do this. Later on, we'll know how to. That's what they're doing. I wouldn't want to call it, but somebody, you know, went to contest. And then somebody asked the person, I don't know, how are you contesting? You want to spend 100 million for social office? He said, forget it, I know what I'm doing. There's no way I will lose.
There's no way I will lose.
Investment.
In politics, if you are in a ruling party, except the ruling party loses, but the ruling party wins, you don't lose. Because you contest, you withdraw, you negotiate, and you are compensated. That's just it.
You contest, you withdraw, you negotiate, and you are compensated. Okay. Bishop, should we be worried right now as a nation from this trend?
We have to. If there is any time to be worried, this is the time.
Very worried.
If there is any time in the history of Nigeria to be worried, because, you know, some of us won the whole world 2014, and people named us that time. But I thank God now that all the people that call us named that time, because, you know, the issue is that a small pig is asking the mother, Mama, what happened to your nose? Do you have accident? Why is your nose long like this? The mama said, no, I'm not going to give you answer today. As you go by, now after some time, now the mama now look at the child and say, my son, what happened to you? Did they beat you outside? Why is it your nose? He said, I just saw it like that. So that's our DNA. That's the DNA. Now we have to be worried because number one, you see, if you look from 2015 down to this day, you will see that even the political gear has changed. Political atmosphere has changed. The mindset of even Nigerian for politics has even changed. We have never seen it in the history of this country where people do election as if you are collecting toll gate fee and somebody is giving you receipt and you are doing it and somebody is snapping. It has never happened in this country. You don't rule it out. You cannot remove money from politics. But for this, what we call in Yoruba land Dibosebe. Dibosebe means vote and cook. Vote and you are able to buy slippers. It has never, that slogan has never come. The audacity of doing it in the broad daylight and it's been, even security agencies supervises and help you to even disburse funds. They are saying, yes, that man voted. Oh, the people are given Ogun to jump on top of iron so that they will be able to confirm that money you collected, this money you are going to vote. We have never gotten to this level. Do you remember Osun election? Do you take your mind back to Ekiti election? It's a show of shame to what we had in the days of Yaradua, and we have an electoral reform that that was built up by Jonathan, and we now have a cadre that worked against the man himself. Have you looked at our electoral act? They bamboozle it left and right. At the end of the day, they concluded by using it to suit themselves. Now, what I'm establishing for you is that we have to be worried because even the people you consult, look at the Senate president yesterday declared his intention, and people have bought funds for him. The question is that no single person have told you in Nigeria today that I bought the fund by myself. It is surrogate that bought it for them. Now, who are you going to investigate? The people that put their brother to heavy FCC, they don't get sense. They have sense. The strategy is in play. Have you asked yourself the relationship between the Minister of Justice and the head of EFCC today? The issues that have been swept under carpet, glowing issues that you people are celebrating. Now, even the judiciary today, they wouldn't have the boldness and the will to go over it because you know that at the end of the day, whatever is the judgment you give, by the time you sentence an individual, somebody comes from the back door and say, well done, a good servant. The issue of minor, where has it gone to? If we have not shouted to the roof, today people who call themselves fumigator of corruption, it was we here that shouted to the roof. And when the man was brought back, he was brought back as an hero back to his nation. A man that ought to be tied to a horse and being drawn to the country is given a presidential welcome back. What has happened to all those cases? What we are talking about is that if we are talking about corruption, you will look at what has happened between 2015 and now. What I love this government for is that their strategy is that if they steal 1 billion today, you are talking about it, people like us are shouting, tomorrow you hear 4 billion. We hear 4. Yoruba say in Yoruba that you use cost to cure cost. That's what Yoruba used to say. You use cost to cure cost. You don't use prayer to cure cost. If somebody say you know where, you say he go die tomorrow. Out of die tomorrow and you know where, you know the one is heavier than the other. What I'm bringing at is that if you look at if it has come into campaigning, we are talking about somebody sponsoring from behind. That money is not going to be refunded. Where has that guy got the money? Okay. And you also look at one of the reasons why people are coming out is that some people have decided that the issue of presidential election coming to the south, we are going to water it down by bringing so many people out, and it will not look, the issue will not be that you have so many people. The issue of talking about south, if you look at it now, has the tempo not gone down about talking about is coming to the south, because some people strategize in bringing people that when you have so many people, just like what Pharaoh did when Moses dropped his rod, he called the astrologers and the magicians. He said, I have many of you here. Come and tell them we have many snakes. And that place become a zoo of snakes until when the super snake started swallowing the rest.
I will come back to you, Bishop. Well, now he raised another point saying that this is like to choke zoning because of the agitation that they should come to the southern part of the country. Don't forget about the Mighty Allah that came together according to a report that purchased a form of my President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Do they have a correlation?
It does. You see, in this country, we have a way of dousing tension, dousing uprising, dousing agitation. You know, they will bring one issue and use to cover another one. Look at the issue of fuel crisis. There was going to be agitation against increase in price of the pump price of fuel. Now, while that was going on, the government said, no, don't worry, we're not going to do it anymore. We're going to allow it remain the way it is. And then Nigerians relaxed. What did they do? Oh, they said somebody brought in fuel that is corrupted. Adulterated. And that fuel now starts killing people's vehicles, all of that. So for that reason, price of petroleum product went up. So all this way, they are still cleaning that bad fuel. They are still not taking that to the market. The prices refuse to come down. Diesel now is almost, how much is it? 600, almost 700 per liter. Fuel, you know, if I if you can get for 165, you should be very happy. 200 and all of that. It refused to come down. From the back door, what they wanted to get, they have gotten it. So now the issue of queuing for this fuel, since we can find it to buy, no problem. The aviation industry, they say that they are going to go on strike. They went begging them because the price of aviation fuel has gone up. It refused to come down. And all these things collectively, we have affected the price of commodity in the market. That was an issue we had to agitate for. The government down that and brought other issues to cover up. So in the same wise, for whatever we are saying now, the issue of zoning has been swallowed up. Oh, so many persons now buying tickets, want to contest election, all of that. So now the idea is whether where will it come to? Okay, as many as you are Nigerian, you have the free will to aspire to go to any office. So keep buying. Wherever that money is coming from, only God knows. They refuse to investigate it. They only say they will investigate. I know that nothing will come out of it.
Absolutely.
Now money is coming out as if 100 naira is 100,000 naira or even 100 naira. You know, no big deal about it. So go and buy ticket. Go and buy ticket. You know, they are buying forms for presidency. So right now, nobody talking about where will it now come to. After all, you have all bought forms. So let us see whatever happens. At the end of the day, if I find out that as many are there that they are giving money to go and buy form in the south, maybe those from the north may not be that much. So they have a block vote, a block vote for them. Therefore, them in the south that has scattered their vote. Okay, then you continue. Nobody will give it to you. Or Simbajo is there, want to contest. Bola Tinubu want to contest. Very close to Mr. President. We show that the permutation, they are even sincere to say, okay, everybody's okay, everybody is favor of Mr. President. That may not be true. Bola Tinubu is also there. We sure that Osinbajo is actually not working for Bola Tinubu? We sure that Mr. President is not trying to just create a division among the two of them, and then the day somebody comes from the north that will get the block vote? So everything is all kind of arranged. So they bring one to dance the other. So I agree with him that when somebody is sick of a particular sickness, they will bring so you don't want to talk about malaria that you are sick of, not cancer. It's cancer you are not going to focus on. So right now, we're not talking about zoning anymore. We're talking about provision of for people buying for here and there without people even asking questions, where is this money coming out from?
All right, in all these confusions, people are like saying that this is confusing in the sense that we don't know what is really going to happen. We don't know what the dictates will be. How do you think the process will go, knowing fully that right now millions going to billions has been spent just to purchase form? Don't you think that politicians will not make it a do or die affair? Haven't spent such an amount of money? Think it'd be easy to say you're not going to contest or so along the line you lose out of the election, knowing fully well you already started investing?
My brother, you are seeing it as that amount of money. Do you actually see it as that? Because like I did tell you, I said, from my own angle,
Yes.
I see gimmicks. People are sponsoring people. You understand? So a man who is sponsored has nothing to lose because he didn't spend the money. So he's not anxious. It's the person who sponsored him. And somebody that can do such amount of money, that money means nothing to him. Because with due respect to, as I'm concerned, these are stolen money. When you steal money,
Stolen money.
Yes.
steal money you are spending.
Where did you get the money from? They should investigate the source.
When you steal money you are spending it, you really don't bother. You say, I cannot swear, steal again. You understand? Like my brother here also said, he said, we have kind of ignored the DNA that links between the EFCC boss and the Minister for
Justice.
Minister for Justice. These are all things that were strategically planned, seriously planned, and it's just coming up. We sit and we watch this. We know exactly what's going on. It's just that they'll be not saying it. Like somebody say, are we worried? Why should you be worried? We are not worried because we know it. The situation of Nigeria is not, so this one is happening. Oh, this one not happen again. Because we all know it is the way that it will happen.
Something will always happen.
Because with due respect, you see, people are fighting corruption. Let me deviate a little. Have you asked yourself how much is voted to feed prisoners? Where that money goes into? Will they say they are not aware? Have you asked yourself how much is voted for police? Where the money goes to? Will they say they are not aware? So many other things. Yet you say we are fighting corruption. Which corruption? It has never been this bad, and everything is showing it. Everything is there for us to know that it has never been this bad. Phone was purchased for Jonathan, and he said, I never asked you to do that. People purchased the phone. And if actually they did, you think they have no reason for doing that? Perhaps two people who have started now to say, don't accept this because the X, Y, Z. That's why we will say no.
But
it's clear.
He hasn't said no yet because he has gone to meet with the APC chairman. That's the latest right now. Maybe they're discussing. Well, take it up from there. Continue for your stop.
I know.
Yes.
That's one I read this morning. He said no. That is one I know. And then, like my brother here said, why do you think that because it's not zoned to the south, it is like this? It is to douse this particular one so that some other place will have a black vote. So that is strategy, political strategy. You don't blame anybody for it. Nigerian Constitution didn't say that it must be zoned. It is gentleman's agreement. But the other way, you should also respect gentleman's agreement. I had an issue with somebody, and he said he went outside the agreement. As we were talking, a lawyer, he said, but that's gentleman's. I said, that's more reason. You should have respected it because gentleman's agreement. So that's the situation.
All right. Gentleman's agreement versus the reality on the ground. Bishop, how do you think all this will pan out?
The question is that, we have few in the south who have decided to set their conscience to Satan, and they decided I give you an example. Naval University is going to the north, and we have river here, and we have senators who came from this side of the Niger Delta. Have you seen any one of them make noise? When they want to take the degree program of Federal University of Petroleum to Kaduna, people like us who are not even from Uroboland, we are shouting to the roof. But people fold their hand. People who come from that area, who knew that when you take that degree course to Kaduna, Kaduna becomes the headquarters. The same thing that was done to law school, that they make sure that they disconnect that Lagos glory that you are going to be called to bar. They remove everything from VI, but they started with a strategy that is going to be regional. And even the Satan clap their hand, not knowing the strategy of is going back to them. Do we not have it in Buhari? What is happening in VI? If you ask anybody from the north, let's remove one department from DNA and NDA, you will see that the whole country will go haywire. But today, everything that is from this end, we are all here. When Babangida moved all the barracks from south, and they moved the equipment. Thank God for the barrack in Ibadan. That stood their ground. So what I'm talking about is that there are Southerners that have made up their mind to be an agent of Satan, to make sure their own place, there's nothing they cannot do against their own people in the name of stomach infrastructure. The person that announced that stopped the election in Osun is the person a Northerner. The man who supervised the election and stopped it, and mathematicians and statisticians were given instruction to dagaru the whole thing and call it inconclusive. Is the man from the north? But at the same time, we're not saying the whole thing now, because you see there are Southerners that have made up their mind that they will be a surrogate for the north to make sure that in as much their stomach is taken care of and their family, whatever happened to their people does not matter. Now, what stopped us today of having transport university here, but today we don't have it, and our people are there seated when these things are done. So the question is that those who are fighting us, they are full of strategy, and they put their strategy on ground, and they waited for the few that they have been able to buy over here, who are ready to sell their father's grave and their father's house and relocate somewhere and go and become a tenant. Those are the people among our people who have stood up to be able to fight. I give you an example. Look at the issue that happened about a professor when they were doing investigation. That investigation died a natural death after the Nollywood drama of the professor has collapsed. Now, who is talking about that one again? Because other ones are happening. The people that were administrators that were appointed for NDDC, those who are brought in to investigate, they now stole more than the people they were asked to investigate. Now, where has it gotten to now? Has anybody gone behind the bar? It tells you that these are strategy. We will continue to use them. They will be the one fighting in Edo State here. Dr. Odubu was made chairman of NDDC. Who are the people that fought him? Who are the people that removed him? Is it not the same Edo people today? Today the strategy, the position has gone to another stage. What is the benefit of the Edo people? When Oyegu was there, was it not the same Oshomole that was used to fight Oyegu? Now when Oyegu left there, Oshomole got in there, his own surrogate son also fought him. Now the question is that when will Edo produce a ruling party chairman again in the history? We lost it out. What can we point to in the period of Oyegu, Oshomole, and even our present governor that we can say this is the federal blessing? That their position. I'm trying to establish something. Okay. Those who made them to be fighting themselves, say, you guys, you will fight yourself. Yes. We will control the oil well. We will move the money in NNPC, but you brothers, you will continue to fight us. And they fought till when the whole thing was done. So the question is that there are Southerners who have sold their conscience. I give you an example that we fought against Ruga, but in this state, our governor went out and said, hold on, Bishop. No, Bishop, I'm talking about is that. This is why I put my foot on the ground, Bishop. No, what I'm saying is that I'm talking about what there are things that are supposed to be for the South.
Yes. Okay.
And our people decided to say, in as much I am settled, this structure that need to come here, Do you remember that Edo State once have CGS?
All right, Bishop, I'll come back to you.
What benefit do we have when we have Chidinma or Aibe? What can we point to in Edo State and say, this is our blessing?
Barrister, you
We have an Augustus Ikongu. What is our blessing? I'm just trying to
calm down.
What is our blessing as a state?
Now, let's allow someone else to keep the ball rolling. Just calm down, please. What's your emotion? It's beginning to go down memory lane, bringing out facts, bringing out stories, events that really happened in the time past. Does it mean that somewhere, somehow, is there manipulating the scene? Is that the reason why there is an upsurge in this? Is it the battle of supremacy between the northern part of Nigeria and the southern part of Nigeria that is playing out in all of this?
That is only what's going on. You see, politics, you know, is a game of no permanent friends, right? No permanent enemies, permanent interests. The North, from what he has analyzed, they always have their permanent interest to control the government of this country, so that whatever decision they are making, whatever thing they are doing, they have that in focus, all of them. So what they keep doing is to find out, okay, fine, the only thing we can have challenges are the Satanás. And the country people will always go for the carrot. Let's offer it to them every now and then. Offer it to them, create division in their camp, and they will take benefit of whatever they are doing. That is exactly what's going on now, even in this election. So you will not be surprised at the end of the day, the whole cry about Satan, whatever zoning, it was very strong. All of a sudden, they have watered it down. Completely. And then the election people will now come, they will not have any say. They have settled you. They have settled all your people. They don't step down from one person. Even if they don't step down, they encourage them, go all the way. Go all the way. So by the time you have all the elections, all delegates are put on the table. Oshibajo has 5. For example, Bola Tinubu has 10. The other one, so they will share all their votes here. Then from the northern part, they have arranged that, look, block vote, this is how we want it. Yeah. And then they will have 20. Who wins? So this is their strategy. So they want to go for the carrot for our people, and they will be hungry to go for it. So my own take on this matter is that the Nigerian youth should be wise enough. It's unfortunate that when the NSA protest was ongoing, certain person was being fingered, you know, from a beneficiary of that, of what was going on. The toll gate affair, somebody ordered the shoot, somebody ordered the light to be shut down, and all of that. Then we come for the head of the person. All of a sudden, the same Nigerian youth who could come together during that NSA protest to say, look, one voice, we don't want this. Some of them many of them are also in the same politics has come now. They went for a football match. They are battle ready. Just give us money, we'll go and contest. What happens to the revolution that took place during the NSA protest? So can we now reinvent that revolution now to say, all Nigerians, we are more than these elders. We are more than these old politicians that have been, themselves in office. Let us all agree that no matter whatever you people do, if you like make all your arrangement, we have the voting power. Every Nigerian, you go and get your voter's card and be battle ready. Whenever it comes, all these people will be there, will be themselves in office, eating our money and destroying our future. They are more getting to this country. They have borrowed money so much to the government. And when the money comes, they share the money. They don't do any work. Absolutely. They cannot continue in this wise. We will ensure that we will give this vote to that person that we believe can get this thing done. That may come for a party that's not popular. Not for the PDP and the APC. From our political party, because our constitution will be sponsored by political parties. When that person comes up, we all Nigerians should organize ourselves together and say, we will not take your money. We are going to take our destiny in our hand and vote. You know, not like what is his name? The guy that sang African Queen.
Two-Face.
Yeah, Two-Face is Libya, and TMI and all of that. They all came to say, look, don't sell your vote.
Okay.
So this is that song we play now every night. Nigerian youth, don't sell your vote. Ensure that you do the right thing at the right time. Right now, that revolution should conduce the real revolution with your card.
All right.
The real revolution is now. So if you collect your money and say, okay, I carry somebody's banner, I want to vote, I want to make a political talk, let me just get what I can put in my pocket now. It will be a shame.
Okay.
We must reinvent the Edo experience. When we say, look, we want Obaseki, doesn't matter whatever happens to him, we don't want any operation in this state. We want him, we will vote him, we voted him. Okay. The same way we should all revolt against this injustice happening in this country and say, look, we want political leaders that will serve us and not come and steal from us. And with our voters card, we should get that one done. If we don't do that, there will be no end to whatever is going on. to be so bad.
You've been quiet listening to their opinions because upon you being a legal practitioner, you are also a politician. All these they have said from your own analysis, from your political eyes and experience, how do you view it and how do you weigh it?
Well, maybe I want to center on what he talked about, the youths,
Yes.
supporting themselves. Unfortunately, there's among the aspirants in APC, there's one particular youth that is there. He has also collected funds. I saw when somebody posted his picture on the Facebook and said he has collected funds. The first person that posted, a youth, and what did he post? Kind donation. Said the money is he has donated it. Then I now posted, I said, this is a youth. Because bring us surprises you don't. Another person now posted, he was told in the last presidential election. You understand? So the problem is they use themselves.
They use themselves.
Yes.
The problem is really not from leadership, it's from followership. They use themselves as the problem. You see those recycled old men that normally we don't have nothing to, we have nothing to benefit from them. All they do is, my children, myself, my children, my grandchildren, they are flying abroad. You have to discover, if you can remember, the moment, with due respect, our president became president, the first thing we did discover that it's just someone that was schooling here went abroad. And I asked the question, as somebody told me, after all, he can afford it. That means he couldn't afford it. He cannot afford it. You see, the other day I saw news where Kaduna State government, the son was graduating abroad. Why would they think of ASU when all their children are abroad?
Exactly.
So if the youths come together, work together like during the NSAS issue, all these recycled old politicians will be faced out. These are people that have the labor force, the voting force, everything, but they will not. They will come to the issue of North and South. I've always said it. Nigeria is not God's creature. God didn't create Nigeria. The British did. And when the British did it, they gave power to the North. And they have been using it. And I'm sure even when they want to make mistakes, they will correct them. And if you check the Constitution, everything favors them. You understand? Check the number of, each region, the positions allocated to members of the Senate, the local government areas you have, and all that. You discover that everything favors them. So if we don't go by way of gentleman agreement, it will be difficult. And then they don't have the way to turn the west against the east and all that. So it's just like that. So it must be a way of negotiation. And they know that they have that power. They just do throw a small grain and then you see confusion everywhere. They get what they want. So for them to have even agreed for us to have it, anytime I'm telling you the truth. So the thing is, if you have Nigerian kind of politics, the way out, from my own analysis, the best way to solve it is to start from the scratch again. A constitution is supposed to be subject of the people. But what we are amending and re-amending today, is this subject of the people? Somebody sat somewhere and did it. I want to say, we the people. Is it we the people? So now that is where we actually start from. If we start from there, sit and reorganize this thing, spread power evenly, then you can conveniently say one fight. Because when you see some people say, like some of our members in the National Assembly, like my respected Bishop here is saying that they easily give it. They have sense, check it out. I do, I'm not doing. So what do I do?
All right.
You know that their voting power is
Minimal.
So you better just join, collect the largest and sit down.
Okay, gentlemen, 2 minutes each to sum up your point because we really have to go. We have other segments of today's edition of TMI. Barrister Matthias, you have the first shot at it. What do you think should be done? Because from what you said, it's like the zoning fever is dwindling because of all these forms being purchased by various personalities. How do we get out of this?
Well, whatever thing we are doing, zoning, buying forms, whatever it is at the level of the primaries and whatever it is. The May election is coming up. So my advice is based on the May election. whatever political party is doing to feed their candidate, their flag is up to them. But the only concern I have is that is the corruption that they are, institutionalizing by making it look as if the money is just 5 naira, 100 million. And that whatever they are doing is affecting the market price of commodity. And Nigerians are suffering. So the sovereign masses of this country should rise up.
All right.
With their voters card at this time. Living with the word of Chief Ganifawemi, of blessed memory. He said, stand by what is right, right? Even if you stand alone. So at a time like this, we need men whose consciences can neither be sold nor bought. Right. So we should identify such men. Nigerian youth should come together with one indivisible voice, to vote that right person, and do not sell your vote, no matter how tempting it is. If they give you that money and you cannot reject it, eat the money. Either they can give you a good to come across, whether they can go there and vote in that right person. That is can turn the tide.
Thank you so much, Barrister Martha. Yes, Barrister Cosmos, your 2 minutes starts now.
Well, my own take is simple. We'll have to pray for God to help us.
We have to pray.
Yes, we'll bring in prayers into it this time around. And then the youth should learn to stand their grounds. They should learn to stand their ground. They've done it before it worked. Why can't they do it again now for it to work? Then Southerners, those of us who are Southerners, should also believe that we can come together, unite, and get what we want. That's just what I have to say.
Thank you so much. Bishop, you're going to have the last take on this.
Yes, I want to say that we can make, it was designed, the country was designed to benefit the northern people ahead of the south. Maybe they felt that maybe the southwest, they are well read, and the colonial master decided to say, these people will contest our rulership. You guys have the power. And today you see a professor is a vice president to a man that has his own certificate. But the prof is now like a messenger. Now that's the essence of power. You can make a professor a PA if you have power. If people go for power, that's why you see they don't care about education. The cases of certificate today, when they brought in SAN 71, the case get head for 7 years. He not get head because instead of bringing the certificate, they brought lawyers who will stand in, and most of those lawyers are Southerner. Because what it takes is that just feed my pocket. It doesn't matter if this thing is wrong. I felt that we can come together as Southerner. Let us identify the bastard among us so that we can be able to show them. We will not show them pepper. We will give them pepper to taste in a very good place. Because we must identify the Southerner among us who are traitors. And I encourage the youth that you cannot be at home. I have children now. I have about 4 undergraduates that is at home. And the man who is at the helm of affair wants to be president purchasing for. I think that the youth must come together now.
Thank you.
The same way they came up to say end SARS. Let this strike end.
Thank you.
If they can bring money to sort out aviation problem within 48 hours and bring the fuel to 480, they can do the same thing to this issue of education.
Thank you so much.
A man that has no certificate, what will he do about
Thank you.
strike?
Thank you.
An issue to
Thank you.
It's not a priority.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate a wonderful analysis where you've heard them, their opinions, theirs. It has nothing to do with IDV, but they did their best possible to follow rules and regulations governing the airwaves. There's this surge in the purchase of nomination forms. Should we be worried? A question for you to answer. Gentlemen, once more, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next is insurance segment with Sir Dr. BJ Bry. Do stay tuned.